Okay, parents, so I'm going to go over our math lesson for 11-6. Today we are going to be using patterns on our 100 chart, and our visual learning video begins now.
You can use a chart to find missing numbers. What do you see? Part of a 100 chart is there. What is this called? It is a row. What is this called? It is a column. A column goes up and down. A row goes across. How can you use the numbers 61 and 63 to find out what number is missing?
Okay, so you can go ahead and try it with your kiddo if you'd like, if you're doing it online. If you are not doing it online, again, you're going to want your kiddo to recognize what comes before and what comes after, and to be able to figure out that missing number. That's going to be important. They can also look at the column above and the column below to help give them some clues. But for a lot of our kindergartners, counting in order is where they're at, so they're going to actually need to probably go 61, 62, 63, because that's the way their brains are working right now developmentally.
You can figure out the number in between. What number belongs between 61 and 63? 62 belongs between 61 and 63. What number comes just after 70? 71 comes just after 70. What number comes just before the missing number? 84 comes just before the missing number. What number comes just after the missing number? 86 comes just after the missing number. 85 is missing. You used a 100 chart to find the missing number.
Okay, and if your kiddos are still flip-flopping numbers, like for example, if your kiddo's saying 58 here, that is so normal. I don't want you to stress and worry. Just remind them that we have to read that first number first. So for example, if there's an 8 there, then we have to say 80. Okay, so we want them recognizing the 2 digits, and we want them noticing that whatever number is there first is the number that we need to say first. And that typically helps cue their brains. So you don't want to give them, just tell them it. Try to see if you can cue them first. Okay, so for our interactive student edition for 11-6 today, it's loading up here. We're going to really focus on using the vocabulary that this has been talking about with columns and rows. So make sure your kiddo knows what those are. And so when we're looking at this 100 chart right here, again, you can ask them, what's this called? How do we know what numbers are on it? You can ask them to count the whole chart. So in this problem, it says Carlos looks at the chart. He knows that 21 comes just after 20. Draw a circle around the numbers that come just after each decade number. How do you know you are correct? So here we want kiddos to get their pencil or their color crayon, and we want them to be able to recognize the decade numbers all in this column right here, right? And we want to know that when we're done on the chart, where do we go next in this from this row? So when we finish this row, we have to go down to the next row. And so that's really the whole purpose of this problem. We finished a row, where do we go? To the next row. We want them being able to recognize after 10 comes 11, after 20, 21, after 30, 31, after 40, 41. So make sure your kiddos are saying that. After 50, 51, after 60, 61, 70, 71. So again, that's that ordered counting that we've been practicing, and they need to make sure that they're actually able to point to it on the chart and match what they're saying to the chart. Okay? So again, you're going to see those green boxes at the top that just refresh your video there that I showed you. For the guided practice, they're actually helping you on these too by giving the kids the numbers that are missing. So what I would just have them do is just trace here. So they're going to want to grab their pencils, and we're going to say, okay, we've got some numbers that they've filled in for us. Can you tell me what those numbers are? So they'll count 7, 8, and 9. What comes before 7? 6. What comes after 9? 10. Same thing here. We've got some numbers missing. Oh, you could even ask them here, were these missing in a row or were they missing in a column? Are these missing in a row or are they missing in a column? We know if they're in a row, these numbers are going to need to go in order. If they're not in a row, they're going to be in a column. It's going to be more of pattern counting. Okay, and so when they do this one right here, we want them recognizing again. In this row, it was 4, 5, and 6. In this row, it was 14, 15, 16. In this row, it was 24, 25, 26. So it's kind of a carryover from yesterday's lesson and being able to recognize what number is missing. But also, in addition, they're staying in order here with these columns. So it's important that kiddos recognize that if we go straight down, again, look at how these 5s are all the same. So we want them recognizing those patterns. You can talk about the 10s and the 1s place as well and why they are the same. Okay, so in this whole lesson, students are going to have to decide which row is missing here, and they give them the choices, which I don't love. So if you don't love these choices either, you don't have to worry about this from the beginning. What I would have your kiddos do is I would have them say, okay, are we missing a row or a column? This is a row. So then I would say, okay, if we're missing a row, how can we figure out what numbers are missing? Well, hopefully your kiddo's able to now go, well, we can just count in order. 65, we're going to write in here 66. Okay, and you can have them actually write these in. 67. Sorry, this is really hard to do on my mouse pad. 68. Okay, so I wrote 66, 67, and 68. Can you find those matching numbers down here? Yes, I can. They're right there. Circle them to match. Okay, you're going to do the same thing in this problem. Again, we're missing some numbers here. Are we missing these in a row or a column? You can even have them do a circle around them so they realize we drew a circle up and down. That's a column. Okay, now we need to be able to recognize what's missing. So we have something here. We have 42. Well, we need to know what comes before 42. Do we know what comes before 42? Okay, and again, some kiddos might struggle with that. It depends where they're at developmentally, but we do want them to be able to count. So hopefully they can recognize right before 42 is 41. Okay. And if they can't, you could have them start at 40, start counting at 40 and see if they can figure it out. 40, 41, 42, okay? What comes after 50 right here? What comes after 50? 50, we should have 51. Okay? What comes after 60 right here? We should have 61, okay? So let's say those numbers, 41, 51, 61. Okay, so we need to find the matches down here. 41, 51, 61. And just so you know, they colored these gray so that they would be distinguishable from the top row to the bottom row. They didn't want the kids getting those mixed up. Okay, so it's the same thing on 5 and 6. And then we're going to go down to the next page for independent practice. Remember, independent practice is where you want them trying to do it by themselves, seeing if they can. If they're struggling still, please give them a little bit of help, but ask questions as opposed to giving answers. Okay, so all of this is the same for 7, 8, and 9. For number 10, they are writing the missing numbers in the chart, and they're drawing a circle around the column that has a 3 in the ones place. So if we're looking for a 3 in the ones place, that means that it's this number right here. Remember the ones place? Let's see if I can draw it right here. Okay, so here's our 2-digit numbers. They're broken down into 10s and 1s. Okay, so in the number 33, we've got 3 in the 10s place and a 3 in the 1s place. Okay, we want them recognizing the 1s place, which is the second number in a 2-digit number. Okay, I hope that goes okay for you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope it goes all right. Bye-bye.